Hey everybody, welcome to Bearded Baker Banter, the sports podcast, talking about a lot of sports and a lot of football. Welcome Trent and welcome Trey.
What's going on, guys?
There he is, sports podcast talking about
Sports.
Hey. Trying to make it a little bit awkward and funny, but you know. Yeah,
well,
so
I'd like to just get right to it right now, and I'm gonna read this to you, and I'd like to get a reaction.
Okay.
The night is darkest before the dawn, and I shall rise yet again. Said by the
so we were snapping.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's. I'm not gonna lie, it's very disappointing. Not because I'm a Jets fan, not because I'm even a diehard Aaron Rodgers fan. I like Aaron Rodgers. He's a great quarterback. He's a great person, but I think it's disappointing. It kind of deflated the NFL season a little bit. Obviously it's still the NFL season, but I really think because there was so much hype around it last offseason, Hard Knocks, leading into the season, there was just so much about it. I feel like the NFL, I don't know. I mean, it obviously you feel bad for Rodgers, but I'm saying kind of, little punch to the gut a little bit for the league.
Yeah. Well, I think it leaves what could have been in week one of the NFL season because the Jets were considered contenders. Watching that game, that defense is elite.
Oh, yeah.
And to imagine what they could do on the offensive side of the ball with Rodgers and, Garrett Wilson, you saw that catch.
Yeah.
But, just think about some of the plays, some of the, schemes they'd be able to come up with, the connections, and it's just disappointing not to be able to witness it this year. I feel like we got robbed.
Jay, you point out their defense, and keep in mind, Sauce Gardner had one of his worst games he's had in his career.
Oh, yeah.
And they still stopped the Bills,
Yeah.
And held them, obviously to win in overtime, but think about that. Like, if your best guys having a down game and you still win the game against the top-tier Bills team,
Exactly.
you're going to be all right.
Well, who was the guy with all the interceptions?
Was it
Whitehead.
Whitehead.
So he hit in the first game of the season his incentive contract
For the season.
bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he got a $250,000 incentive bonus pay just from the first game.
Yeah,
so
incredible.
it was, they always make jokes about, remember when Patrick Mahomes was like, Hill's down there somewhere, right? Just chuck it up.
Right.
It was almost like Josh Allen was saying, "Oh, Whitehead's down there somewhere. Let me just chuck it up."
Right.
So, it was yikes. I don't know. I'm gonna talk about the Aaron Rodgers situation, how much it hurt the NFL. But is there any sort of panic button for the way that the Buffalo Bills looked? Because I don't know, man. You guys know I've been saying that I don't think the Bills are going to do it this year. I know, Trey, you have them as a Super Bowl team this year.
Super Bowl champion. That's his Super Bowl champion.
Oh, so I'm just saying that
let's not let that one go.
That to me, losing to a Zach Wilson Jets team because Rodgers played 4 snaps. That's a terrible look. So,
but are you going to dog Zach Wilson though? Because QBR wise, I think he was top 5.
Okay, well,
I'm not buying. I don't. Yeah, I'm dogging Zach.
And he's a first round draft pick.
Before you guys jump down my skivvies, let's not forget that it's week 1 here.
Shiver me timbers.
It's week 1.
Ain't going anywhere near your skivvies there, Trey. I'm not too sure what the hell that means, but
either way, all I'm saying is it's week 1. Josh Allen played a very tough defense in a very packed stadium for their home opener. So don't get me wrong, he looked awful. The team looked awful. It was a bad game. Josh Allen owned up to it in the post game, and I'm not panicking. I'm not hitting the panic button at all. I don't think any teams need to hit the panic button after week 1.
Yeah. I might name a couple, but we'll get
I'll
into that.
start. I'll start.
They might be hovering over it, but they don't need to be hitting it.
Here, I'll start. The Jets. They should be hitting the panic button.
I disagree with that, Trent. I disagree. I'm going to stick strong to our beer bet. Over 9.5.
That's a gimme now.
For me,
I think
Tyler, for the circumstances, I'm going to put this out here. If the Jets cover, I will get you 2 beers.
Whoopsie-dee. All right.
Okay, it's
I thought you were going to be like, dude, they just lost their starting quarterback. I thought you were going to be like, I'll get you a 6-pack.
Well, no, you were dumb enough to make that bet in the first place with me. So
yeah, dumb enough because I knew Rodgers was going to tear his Achilles.
I don't know. There's people out there that had a feeling, but can we just also address that? Let's hope that the NFL does step in here soon, because I do not want 5 more primetime games of the Jets. We got Sunday Night Football Week 4 versus the Chiefs. I just said Chiefs. Chiefs.
Week 4 against them Cheeks. So,
Jeez.
They look like Cheeks in Week 1.
Yes, I'm okay with that. Monday Night Football Week 9, Chargers. Sunday Night Football Week 10 versus the Raiders. Which, hey, I'll sacrifice a Sunday Night Football game if I don't got to watch the Jets. I don't care. But actually, I kind of take that one back. I'd like to see the Raiders play.
So you're completely out on them.
Friday, Week 12, Miami Dolphins. Week 17, Thursday Night Football, Browns. Yes, I'm out, man. Like, guys, yes, I get Zach Wilson could have been the future, but after a couple years behind a Hall of Fame legend, Zach Wilson, and guys, maybe I'm going to be, I don't know, eating crow, is that the saying, at the end of the year? But there's no way, this Jets team is a threat anymore.
Okay,
There's no way.
Go ahead, Trey, I'll let you go because I have a complete rebuttal to you, Trent, on this.
I was going to say, I think you're right in a certain way, Trent, but you're overall wrong. The Jets are going to be a success this year. And I think it's because Robert Saleh is saying the right thing currently because he needs to keep Zach Wilson's confidence up until they find a viable option at quarterback to replace him.
Tom Brady? Or
so define success.
What do you mean?
Playoffs? Are they playoffs?
I think they could steal a wild card with that defense. I absolutely think they could steal a wild card.
All right.
In the AFC.
Yeah.
You guys are nuts.
Okay, so
Absolutely
hold on a
nuts.
second. So Trey, you did bring up a good point. Robert Saleh. Okay?
Yeah.
And I
God.
hate this how you want to hate it, but Robert Saleh
Bias.
comes from the coaching school of Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan can make quarterbacks look very good by just getting the ball to your playmakers. You have Dalvin Cook, you have Breece Hall, you have Garrett Wilson. Okay? You have a lot of playmakers around you. As long as Zach Wilson's pride doesn't get in his way and Saleh gets him to just get the ball to your guys
it's
in
Nathaniel
space.
Hackett, Tyler.
What I'm saying,
Tyler.
okay, I understand. But what I'm saying is that Saleh comes from the understanding of here's what Shanahan does with his quarterbacks. So what I'm saying is if Wilson can just get his guys the ball, let them make plays, not try to do too much, and also rely on a phenomenal defense like Trey pointed out, I think the Jets are going to be okay.
I am not hating on the defense. I know the defense is elite, and that's a strong word to say, elite. But I'm just saying right now, guys, it is a defense can be so good, but when you have an offense that can't stay on the field or can't control the ball or not turn over the ball, I think it's going to come back to bite them.
They beat the Bills. You guys like I don't understand. Like, tell me okay, Trey, you hate Jimmy Garoppolo, right? But tell me this. But tell me this. San Fran's defense has been phenomenal and was phenomenal when Jimmy was there. All right, they had a ton of playmakers around. All Jimmy had to do to win the NFC Championship was just get the guys the ball. Right? So what's the difference between Jimmy G now and putting Zach Wilson in a situation that's similar? Let him get his guys the ball. I don't think the panic button's even close to being pushed for the Jets.
I think the ultimate downfall of the Jets is going to be their offensive line. With a quarterback with as much awareness, talent, and ability to like extend plays and improvise like Aaron Rodgers, you can get away with a subpar offensive line. But when Zach Wilson's relying on making his reads much slower than what Aaron Rodgers has or is able to,
sure.
or when he's like, that's gonna come back to multiple snaps. He's gonna get sacked. He's gonna get rushed. He's gonna make bad decisions because of that.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna be their downfall is their offensive line and the combo of Zach Wilson. But like I said, I don't think Zach Wilson is gonna be playing the whole season. I don't think he's. I know Robert Saleh's saying it, and like I said, I think he has to right now for the team's sake. But I don't. Once he starts to not perform or slip up a little bit, I could see them signing a guy like Teddy Bridgewater or somebody that is a proven success.
Teddy Bridgewater, okay.
A proven success.
Before his freak leg injury, Teddy Bridgewater was going to be really good, and he can make any throw on the football field. He can be composed.
Do you have enough tape on Teddy Bridgewater to say that he's any different though than Zach Wilson?
I think there's plenty of tape to say that he's a better option than Zach Wilson.
Does Trey Lance go to the Jets?
No.
Just thought.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that would be a risk that they wouldn't be willing to take.
Phil Rivers come back? Seen that floated around.
I just,
I think Carl Wentz.
I think with what Saleh has said, unless there's a complete nosedive and they just rattle off like 5 straight losses, he's sticking with. I mean, how do you go back on your word and say, "Hey, Wilson's our guy. He's the quarterback of this team," and then abandon ship? So I like his words, Trey. I think you're right. His hands are tied, but those words could come back to bite you and kind of. I mean, I'm not a believer in Zach Wilson until he proves it. So, if he comes out and they do make the playoffs in an AFC, I mean, right now, even though they beat the Bills, I would still take the Patriots finishing ahead of the Jets by the end of the year.
Goodness. And you know what? My other point was I was going to say, to Trey's point about them possibly still making the playoffs, I think their AFC division, I think they are still capable. I think between the Bills, who they just beat already, I think the Patriots, who nobody really knows, all right, what's going to happen with the Patriots. And I mean, sure, the Dolphins put up 40-some points and Tua threw for almost 500 yards, but again, he's got to stay healthy. I think they're in an AFC division that I think they are still capable of somehow making the playoffs.
Let me just point this out. Maybe you guys are now starting to see that my Dolphins pick wasn't so crazy.
How can you say now we're seeing it because a fluke injury?
It is week 1. I think we're making very definitive statements 1 week into the season.
Sorry, it's just been so long, Trey. I just love NFL being back.
No,
guys are making mountains out of molehills here.
Yeah. And
man.
Oh, man.
Don't be jumping in your skivvies over there, Trey.
Yeah. No, but one thing that I wanted to point out is Trent's big on the AFC. Really likes to talk him up and talk a big game about him. Okay. All of the AFC quarterback strongholds lost in week 1. Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and Herbert all 0-1.
It's a lot of money to go 0-1.
Okay, but that's also a pretty darn big contradiction after saying don't get all amped up about week 1 there, Trey. So
I'm just saying.
Whoop-de-doo then, right? According to what you just said.
Those are the 4 top tier, in finger quote, quarterbacks that are commonly agreed upon, and they all lost in week 1. I think that's pretty
financially.
Okay, so I'm going to bring this back because the situation is suitable. I'm bringing this back. Hold on. You guys, you're not letting me finish. I'll tell you what I'm bringing. Yeah, okay. I'll tell you what I'm bringing back right now. The cream rises to the crop top, so you better watch out. In the end.
Well, yeah, that's very true. It is week 1, as I pointed out.
Let's transition here to some other games here. What were some other things that stuck out to you guys? There's obviously a lot of teams that were big surprises with losses. I know the big one that I had pointed out last week that I said, I think it was Trent before Trey came on, was the Bengals at -1.5. Bengals got throttled. I don't know what the hell happened there with that, but that was a big game that I thought was a big surprise. I think the Bucs surprised some people.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers surprised some people with the Vikings.
Not me.
They didn't surprise you, even though you picked the Vikings in a pick'em.
Yeah, but they didn't. I knew they were going to be tougher than that. You guys heard me say that. Don't be surprised if they sneak up towards the top of that division. Run the tape.
So I would say, Tyler, kind of to toot my own horn like Trent did there. I would say the Bengals was a surprise, but my hot take for the year was that the Bengals don't make the playoffs.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, so
And I'm all on the Bengals in that division. So.
And they looked like dog poo.
They look terrible.
Like they looked awful.
Dog poo.
Dog poo.
But you also highlighted the other game to me that was pretty confusing, and I don't know how to kind of evaluate it. And that's the Vikings-Bucks game.
Yeah.
To me, I'm between the questions of, are the Vikings truly that bad, or are the Bucks better than what I thought? Because I was a big Bucks hater. I know I gave Trent some crap for saying they're going to finish in the top, but that defense still looks really, really good.
Yeah.
And maybe Baker can just manage games and win with that receiving core. Who knows? But I
got 1 year to do it.
Back and forth. Do you think it's that, or are the Vikings just not good?
So my question is, like, and maybe you guys can figure this out for me. I mean, besides Dalvin Cook, who did the Vikings lose from last year from being a top tier team?
Adam Thielen. That's
it. So you got Dalvin Cook. I mean, obviously your main running back, which a lot of people kind of wrote off. And they're like, well, Madison could do the same thing. I don't think he can. Now, Dalvin Cook's not putting up numbers like he did, obviously, in the first week with the Jets here, but I don't understand. I mean, you have, again, not going to sit here, I feel like I say it every time we talk about the NFL, but like Justin Jefferson, all you have to do is throw the ball in the air.
And they did.
Just throw the ball in the air.
That's what I was going to say. They did that. He put up numbers, and they still got kind of manhandled.
So is it their defense then?
I think it's a combination of their defense and, I don't know, just their ability to not capitalize on drives.
Go ahead, Trent.
A big turnover in the inside the 10.
Like
I mean,
Kirk
interception.
Cousins, right?
Yeah, so that hurt. But I'm not going to criticize Kirk. I think Kirk's a good quarterback.
Wow.
I think all that talk about
taste.
All that talk about the Jets earlier. If the Vikings were tired of Kirk Cousins and the Jets got Kirk for 1 year, the Jets would absolutely be a contender, in my opinion. Again,
I don't want to jump back on the Jets, but like
I know, but I'm just saying it was taking care of the ball. It was, and this is what we do have to get back to, right? We're making some outrageous claims. We're kind of abandoning ship a little bit on like some of these teams that lost, but in reality, how many of these key superstars played meaningful football in the preseason? Majority, none, right? Yeah. So from playing football, we know from coaching football, week one can be a blunder of the, hey, where the hell's this guy? Hey, why did we blow that coverage?
It's a good word, blunder.
You're getting communication down. You're getting, it's situational football early on in the year, and some teams got some maybe inexperienced guys at crucial spots early on. So I still think the Vikings are going to be okay, mainly because of, and this is not a knock because I'll start my takeaway here in a second, but I think they are in the NFC, which is not that good, but they also play in a pretty favorable division where they have a chance to split some series with teams. So anytime you get to play the Bears twice, that's easy.
It's getting hot in here.
I don't know.
A little hot in here.
Okay.
Slide digs are about.
Okay, then I'll take away.
But aren't you also the guy that's all in the Lions though?
I am. So I said wild card, not division champ. Okay.
So you don't think the Packers are for real at all?
Let me go to my next headline then. Okay, my takeaway from week one is the Niners and Packers looked real. Okay.
Packers.
Now, I do have here, my only thing is I'm going to give credit to Trey. I was way wrong about Justin Fields. He's terrible. Mac Jones isn't much better.
You can give me that credit too because I agreed with Trey.
Okay. But Mac Jones isn't much better. Right, I still think we might just both have to just push that bet that we have about who finishes better because they're bad. I know, but what I'm saying is Niners and Packers look really, really good. It makes me question, maybe Tomlin could get his first sub 500 season if they're that bad, or maybe it was just the Niners were that good. But I also will say, hey, Packers, they put up scary numbers. It was in Chicago. I think one of the coolest snapshots that I've seen all week was Bakhtiari. Bakhtiari? Oh, boy.
Bakhtiari.
It's tough. Butchered that.
Literally, be able to say it just like him.
Yeah. Literal seconds before he's getting down in his stance, just giving the absolute middle finger to the Chicago Bears fans. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Love that. Oh, yeah. It's like, honestly, I hope he has that framed in his house because it's so cool.
You do know what needs to happen, though, when he does eventually retire, which I feel will be sooner than later, is he does need to join Taylor Lewan and Will Compton on Bus with the Boys. Because I feel like he's just like those guys. Like, he'd be perfect for that podcast.
He kind of reminds me of Taylor Lewan.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
So that was my big takeaways. I thought both your teams looked really good. My team snuck a win out. You
got the Jimmy G effect.
Yeah, and you know what, Jimmy G winning with his legs. But I will say this. Oh, very funny. But the Raiders, hold your. This is the only time you're going to be able to say this all year. First place, boys. Mm-hmm. First place.
Oh yeah.
Before we're going to start crashing. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
So my takeaway from this week one is, and Trent, to kind of add on to your point, you said the 49ers and Packers looked good. I think two other teams that looked good, all things considered, were the Cowboys and the Jets. And I think that's the result of having like an elite defense early in the season. Obviously, the cliche is that defenses are ahead of offenses to start the season, but if you have an elite defense like the Niners and the Cowboys do, I mean, they embarrassed those franchises in the Steelers and the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why the Jets won their game, was because of their elite defense. And I think the Packers overperformed for the same exact reason. So I think really having a team or a defensive team that is like head and shoulders above everyone else.
You did point that out about the Packers defense too. So
right, yeah. I mean, they looked like they should have played last year. But yeah, I just think that's a huge advantage, especially for the beginning of the season while offenses are still trying to mesh and get it going.
So you guys kind of touched on the teams that, obviously look good. So I'll kind of, because those are all the teams that I agreed with, in terms of who looks like they're pretty solid right now. I will say the surprise solid was, for me at least, was Dallas. Again, going back to the defense aspect of things, their defense carried them. Dak Prescott didn't play an elite game, but he also didn't have to. So I think I'm still kind of waiting on the Cowboys here to see what happens. But two surprises for me, at least. Number one was the Rams. And I don't know, Trey, if you have any input on, I know you picked Seattle Seahawks to win the NFC West. Any change or?
No, like I said, week one, I'm not going to make any changes in my predictions. I do think that Sean McVay is a great coach. I think he probably prepared for this game for a while, had a great plan. But the one added surprise, Tyler, to a team that I wanted to say is I think the Browns.
Yeah.
I think the Browns looked really solid against a historically good Bengals team the last couple of years.
It's their defense, though. I mean, they held the Bengals to 3 points. It's exactly. When you look at defense, it's kind of you're seeing some trends here with stuff.
Exactly, and it's the beginning of the season, and I think they're going to steal some games. And I think Deshaun Watson and their offense is good enough to complement their defense.
The one other surprise that I did want to bring up too, and now they did win the game, and some might make the argument that weather had a little bit of a factor, was the Eagles. 25-20 against the Patriots. I mean, they got up early, they got up quick, but they really let the Patriots back in. Did weather play a factor because it was raining, it was ugly? I don't know. I do know one thing is that one forced fumble that the Patriots had against Jalen Hurts was like textbook create a fumble. But they were about a pass or two away, from coming back and possibly winning that game. The Patriots were. So I don't know. I'm not sold on the Patriots. I think, do you represent the Eagles now and saying, wow, they're pretty down, this is going to be a tough season for them? Not necessarily. Again, I'm kind of going back to weather, and I'm not going to make that an excuse, but That was a tight game. I didn't expect that to be. I think a lot of people expected the Eagles to really kind of walk away with that game pretty handily. And the way it looked early, they were going to.
Right.
So, what was the difference? I don't know. I'm not even sure. Trent, do you know Jalen Carter's stats?
Yeah, he led the entire NFL in quarterback pressures.
Okay. I was just asking. It wasn't a dig. I was asking.
No, he literally had the best statistical game of any defensive player in the league. So, yeah, that's all I'll leave at that.
I don't know. The guy for the Niners had 3 sacks, so I don't wouldn't say statistically the best. So
I guess if you're only counting
Whitehead
sacks,
had 3 picks.
Didn't Micah Parsons have like a big game too?
Yeah, he's all right. Now, any other surprises though, week 1 or anything else you guys want to talk about before we move on from week 1?
Yeah, I thought Jacksonville looked solid, and I thought the Dolphins looked frightening.
Yeah. Oh, can I point out my boy, my dude Bijan from the Falcons? His cut, whoo, nasty.
He looked nasty. Aren't you a little more surprised that Algier dominated their backfield?
I'm not, because I think it's the same. I think it's the same thing that had happened with the Detroit Lions, with Montgomery and Gibbs, and Dan Campbell even said too, like, we wanted to, hey, it's your first NFL game, let's get your feet wet, kind of thing. That's not the saying, is it, Trent? Feet wet.
Yeah, it is.
Get your ears
wet.
It is. Maybe get your beak wet.
No. It's
your beak
get
wet.
your feet.
What's the whole wet behind the ears, though?
That's another saying, different saying. It's okay.
But yeah, dip your toe in the water here as a rookie. But yeah, I thought Bijan looked good. So.
Yeah, I was actually pretty impressed with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, they're playing the Panthers.
The Panthers,
yep.
Yeah.
Are the Cardinals as bad as people are going to say?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
100%.
I was just checking. I mean,
they played the Commanders.
Does that mean the Commanders are that bad too, or?
Yes.
I think they will be.
Okay. I was just checking.
Yeah. Can we go some quick picks for the weekend, like the lines that you're liking, or?
Let's do it. I'll tell you. Can I name a few that I'm seeing that I'm having trouble kind of understanding, actually?
Let me.
So
can you at least tell me what book we're using? That way I can go off the same book.
I'm using DraftKings.
Try to use the FanDuel, don't you?
I used both. I looked at both, and I basically took. We're mainly DraftKings and FanDuel, so I took the better line of anyone that I could get. So I like to put the best line out there possible.
Okay.
Go ahead, Trey. Why don't you give us one to start, and then we'll see if we're tailing, if we're fading, or maybe it's also we're tailing because we also have the same one. I have 3, but let's go 1.
The one that I'm really liking, and even if it wasn't for the week 1 performance, I like the Ravens getting 3.5 points against the Bengals.
Top pick by me too, buddy.
I think, especially with the hook there, the 3.5 is what's the kicker. 3 is a good number. I would still bet it, but I think getting over a field goal worth of points on a Ravens team against the Bengals, a divisional rivalry, after a game, the Bengals don't really look too good. And I think the Ravens looked good enough to where they would definitely at least probably win that game, let alone cover.
Even without Dobbins?
Yeah, I think Gus Edwards has been. I mean, Dobbins hasn't been there for how many years, and the Ravens are.
I felt so bad for him too, man.
Yeah.
Can I rattle a statistic off for you on that pick, Trey? Because it's good to know. Ravens dating back to 2018, they are 18, 3-1 as underdogs against the spread. So.
Wow.
So yes, I am also Ravens plus 3.5 at Cincinnati. I mean, you think Ravens defense? I would say is more proven than the Browns defense. So if the Browns were able to do what they did, you would think the Ravens are going to be able to do what they did. And that offensive line in Cincy just still doesn't look right. So that's my
it
pick
doesn't,
as well.
Man. It's been like that for 3 years.
Yeah.
Go get some. Didn't they just Yeah, they just
Leo
cut.
Collins.
Yeah, what like?
Yeah.
Wow, like
Very weird.
I don't really. Yeah, I don't understand that.
Very weird. All right. Anything else to add on that game?
Yeah. There's a.
Oh, I have a next pick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. My other pick is I am actually on the Jaguars. It's this 3.5. Jaguars plus 3.5 versus the Chiefs, not the Cheeks. Yeah, I mean, Jaguars at home. Chiefs, yes, they're going to get Travis Kelce back. Yes, they're going to get Chris Jones back. But I think that's why you might even get this line even better. You might get a 4.5 for the Jags here by the end of the week. So keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it because I think everyone's going to be putting the Travis Kelce, Chris Jones money on there, so the line's going to change. But I love Jags covering a field goal at home versus the Chiefs.
I love it too.
I don't at all. I am on the other side completely.
Ooh, Tyler's faded.
Other side completely. And it's you're going to get Kelce back. You're not going to get Mahomes to look like crap 2 games in a row.
Does Doug Peterson know Andy Reid's offense?
He might. I mean, he might. I'm surprised it's that close.
Really?
Which kind of
even though the Jags are at home.
Yeah, it kind of tells me that a lot of people are really jumping off the Chiefs. That people are like, "Whoa, panic attack!" But and don't get me wrong, a lot of people have been jumping off the Chiefs. From this year, I mean, a lot of different analysts and things like that have said, hey, Chiefs, this is not the year that they continue to do what they're doing. But then you also have the same, on the other hand, you still have some people saying, hey, dynasty continues, like this is going to be the year again. They're going to back-to-back it. Like, I've heard both ways. I'm surprised it's only 3.5. I thought that Jacksonville would at least get 5.5. To be perfectly honest, I think it's more of the Chiefs' play. So if you can get Jacksonville at 4.5, I would take Jacksonville at 4.5. 5.5, I'd take it. 3.5, I'm not.
Okay.
So that.
Can I tell you another game I like a lot?
Sure, unless you guys want me to give one.
No, yeah.
I'm looking at the Chargers Titans. Chargers Titans. I'm actually looking at the Chargers -3.
At Tennessee.
Yeah, I think that the Titans need to move on from Tannehill. I think last week kind of proved it a lot. I think if Vrabes doesn't make that move soon and I don't care who it is, Malik Willis or Will Levis, I don't care who it is, but Levis, wear your Levi's when you play for the Titans. But I think he needs to move on from Tannehill. I've also seen a rumor that Tannehill to the Jets could be a possibility. But I'm on the Chargers -3. I'd like it even more if it was -2.5 because I kind of like Trey pointed out the hook thing. But I'd take the push with a -3.
Wow.
So.
And the hook, for anybody that's not familiar, is the 0.5 point. Just to clarify for listeners. I don't know, Ty. Here's my thing is these are two teams that on paper right now, comparing rosters side by side, I'm totally on board with you. But when it comes to, like, you never know which one or which version you're going to get of these teams. It's like 1 week the Titans just look like total turds. I mean, look at this past week. Saints were not good.
Right.
They're not good at all. And they lost to the Saints, the Titans. And then you get the Chargers who, they had a freaking shootout of a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I just at this point can't trust the Chargers to win a big game or let alone a close game. Once again, I made the call way back, probably summertime still, that I think the Chargers coach Staley is on the hot seat and might be let go halfway through the season if they are not above 500. Even if they're 500, I think they're gone.
I do have one other comment though on that game. As opposed to even making a spread pick, I'm on the under 45.5.
Under.
Under.
Okay.
I mean, and I'm not gonna lie though. My pick, my lean on that with the Chargers though, will drastically change if Eckler is out. I saw right now he's day to day. If he's out, then totally stay away from the -3 for sure. I'd still definitely stay on the under 45.5 though. So,
Okay.
but I mean that really kind of goes, without saying. So I don't know. I think he'll play. I don't know how much he's gonna play, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Trey, you said you had another one, didn't you?
I have one more as well, but Trey, you go ahead.
Yeah, I know this is going to come as a surprise, but I like the Niners -7.5.
Whoa. Hold the phone.
Yeah, I think that. I know
Is
the
that
Rams.
Ram?
Yeah, I think they're coming off a big win against the Seahawks. Like I said, I think McVay knows how to coach for week 1 win, and I think that's kind of explains the big discrepancy in the Seahawks game. But I think the Niners right now are just one step ahead of every other team, at least from the looks of it, week 1. Their offense looks like it's clicking on all cylinders. Their defense is one of, if not the best in the league. I think they shut down the Rams offense. And then I don't think the Rams defense is quite as potent as what the Niners offense is. So I think
the question mark, though, is going to be San Fran's offensive line. Are they able to stop Aaron Donald and protect Purdy? If they can protect Purdy or if Purdy can actually sense it and get out of the pocket and make plays like he did last week,
what I'm going to say is he's not. I don't even think Donald's going to have enough time to get to Purdy. I think that they're going to run plays. They're going to run misdirections. That they're going to completely eliminate him from the game.
Say watch for Kittle to have a big game here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
If you're a fantasy football player and you have Kittle on your team, I'd say watch for Kittle on short little routes, little dinks and dunks over the middle, out routes and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean that'd be Purdy's best shot is getting it out quick. So I agree with that.
Or even little undercuts from Debo, a little 2-yard cut across when what I mean. It's just I just think that they're going to know how to combat Donald's presence, and I think they win by like 17 plus points. To be honest with you.
Whoa, big number. Yeah. So can I tell here's my thing. I would probably never take a favorite 7.5 in the NFL. So
I hate that line. I'm not gonna lie. I hate it.
It's and I'm not saying that I would take the Rams plus 7.5. I just wouldn't take it. But and this kind of brings me into maybe like a different thing that I enjoy doing during the NFL season. This is a great line to include in a teaser. You can usually couple a teaser where you do 3 and sometimes 4 teams. And it sounds crazy, but you give yourself 6.5 points, and you're usually making positive money. So you put a little wager on it. So if you take the 6 points, you now have the Niners -1.5. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I love to include this game because I am very big on the Niners. I won't take their straight up spread 7.5. But I will include them in my teaser this week because I pretty much make one every week.
Here on this podcast though, because of Bearded Baker Banter, we do call those B teasers.
Oh goodness! Hey. Oh boy! Anyway, I will say.
Gets them going.
We don't call them that.
Gets them going. So anyway, the one prop, and Tyler, this is typically a U prop that I would say to look for is a Matt Stafford interception. Over a half of interception is -150. So not too bad.
That's a steal.
I will take that right now, Trent. Good call.
There you go. You're welcome.
Trent, I love the fact that you also bet a teaser every week.
A B teaser.
It's one of my favorite. I'm sorry, a B teaser. It's one of my favorite things to do because I think it's so fun seeing some of the lines you can get.
Hashtag B teaser. Wait till that sets up. That'll be fun.
Yeah, we can't put that out there.
Yeah, we can. Oh, yeah, we can.
No, you can. Anyway, go ahead, Trey.
But, I don't understand. I'm not sure what you guys.
It's interesting. I mean, one of my self rules with the teasers is I'll never tease to still be a favorite. You know what I mean? Like,
if you can get it
usually
down to
tease a
1
dog?
point.
I know I have to either tease a favorite to a dog or tease it to a pick'em, because I can't. I've lost way too many teasers on like +8 spreads, +9.5 spreads, where I tease it down to like 2.5. I'm like, oh, they'll win by a field goal, or then they just lose outright, and it's like, why? Or they win by 2 points, and it's like, God, like, it's so frustrating. So it's just one of my personal rules, is I'll never tease unless I'm getting points or it's a pick'em.
Okay.
But I love the fact that you do that, because I teasers every week. I don't think I share it with you guys because it's kind of like a degenerate thing, but it's very fun.
Well, every single week I have a teaser, 100%.
Yeah. Wow. It's usually my biggest bet of the week too.
Yeah.
Pinky's up.
That's right.
Oh boy. All right, my next game that I am looking at, and this is going to get a negative reaction from both of you. I know this, but I actually am on Steelers +2 at home versus the Browns. Reason I say it is the Steelers just played an extremely good, probably a Super Bowl favorite right now. I actually think they are in the power rankings, number 1 now. They played the Niners, and they're number 1.
You don't talk about that.
So
Don't talk about that.
They are anyway, but
I mean, they're going to win it. The Niners should win it all.
Oh, look at that reverse jinx coming out! Wow, that's cool.
I agree.
But I just
asshole.
I just really like. I just think an in-division game. You know how these AFC East divisional games are low scoring. Probably going to finish up with like a 18-15. Who the hell knows? But yeah, I think the Steelers actually win outright versus the Browns.
AFC North.
Sorry, AFC North. My apologies. Yeah, sorry, I just screwed up. That's my fault.
Okay, that's okay, but you're right.
But I'm serious. It's going to be low scoring. Everybody's all over the Browns beating the Bengals. Everybody's down on the Steelers because they looked like crap against the Niners. And I just think that's where you're going to get, if you get a home Steelers team versus a Browns, not a Niners. I know the Steelers were at home versus the Niners, but if you get them versus the Browns at home, I think the Steelers win outright.
They're 2.5 right now on FanDuel too.
So take 2.5.
Now you want to talk about a B teaser leg? That's something I would tease down to. I would tease that down to like 8.5. You know what I mean? Like that is almost a guarantee.
You would B tease that down to the skivvies?
Jeez. Jeez.
Oh man.
But no, seriously, that's a
one episode, guys. It's an awesome episode.
Yeah. So yeah, I pay attention to that. I'm just saying. So Tyler, any more lines that you're jumping out that we haven't touched on?
I don't. The one that interests me a lot that I'm scared to death to make a pick on would be the Dolphins -3. And they play the Patriots. I mean, I know the Patriots gave the Eagles a little bit of a run, but like I think the struggle here would be the fact that the Dolphins have to actually go up to New England. So I think that could be a little bit, a little bit of a hindrance there for the Dolphins. But yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Hindrance, okay.
Like that. It's a word.
Yeah.
It is a word.
All right.
But yeah. That's what I'm looking at.
It's a word.
It is a word.
I know, it's just, I love how flustered you are. You're not sure if it is, but you're like, it totally is.
No, because I'm flustered because I made the Dolphins my pick and my pick 'em like 3 times, and then changed it, and then made them a pick, and then I changed it like 3 different times because I don't like it against the Patriots.
Gotcha.
So we are we all coming up with one best bet?
Cool. We did that last week, and mine was terrible, but sure.
Give us your best bet, Trent. Go.
Oh, damn. Hold on. My best bet. Don't put me on the spot. I haven't looked at any of my passing props yet. They weren't all posted. Best bet right now, man. because I think this game is going to be an absolute war. Okay, meaning I think it's going to be absolutely close. I am going to keep an eye on. I can't give you the line because, like I said last week, that my favorite prop to bet is passing attempts.
Okay.
But I am going to be keeping an eye on Tua's passing prop for passing attempts because I do believe it's going to be a close game. I think the Patriots play solid run defense. And I think Tua is going to have to throw the ball in order for them to win the game. So I'm keeping an eye on Tua. If I can get Tua for 34 and a half pass attempts, I'm taking it.
Only thing that scares me is
I know
who the quarterback is.
Oh, I thought you were going to say injury.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
I'm saying,
I'm just saying
it just scares me because that's like he could go out in the first play.
Tyler, this is my best bet, not yours. Okay.
I know. I'm just saying.
Get your own.
My best bet is one I've already mentioned. It's the Niners -7.5.
Wow, that's a huge spread.
My best bet. I'm going that Titans Chargers under 45.5. I think it's a defensive game.
All right, fellas.
That's where I'm at. So.
Well, I'll tell you what. I could talk about NFL all day, but let's get it on over to the college boys, huh?
Let's do it, man.
The college boys. Let's do it. I got you.
Real quick though.
Right,
speaking of college football though, how do you guys feel about this changeover of College Game Day's song? Still the same song. How do you feel?
I don't know if I heard it exactly.
Gosh, you know that by 9 yet, Trent?
By 9? Well, no, I'm not.
Okay, so it's
I
Lenny Wilson, Darius
it.
Rucker, and Cadillac 3 now sing the same song. They still feature Big and Rich in the video, but Big and Rich don't sing it. It's just, I don't know, man. There's something about it. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Darius Rucker. And Lenny Wilson's awesome, but like, I don't know. There was something about Big and Rich singing "Coming to Your City" every single morning. It was a vibe, dude.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Anyway,
so
sorry.
I'm going to start us off.
I'm just a big fan of Darius Rucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
So I'm going to start us off, guys. I'm not going to pat my back yet, but I do have something later to pat my own back. But I'm going to say
it's about Notre Dame.
We were almost all on board, I believe. But Texas football getting the big win.
Yep, we were all
knocking off Bama at home. One of their first, I think, in over like 50-some games. They were, what they say, like 50-some games in a row, non-conference, I believe, at home.
Yep.
So, Texas football, love it. Sark had a great game plan. His team stepped up in the end, even when they were pushed a little bit late.
Yours looked a lot better than the first week, too.
Yeah, we said that time. We said Texas was totally looking past Rice, who, honestly, after seeing what Rice did to Houston, and Houston was almost 6-point favorites over them, maybe Rice is just a pretty good football team. I mean, they have, what's his name? JT Daniels is their quarterback there.
Is that the guy that's
like
played like 6 schools?
It's like his eighth college football season. So. Yeah, but I was happy to see Texas pull that off. Gives Bama the almost always up for consideration playoff team a loss early. Love it.
I mean, real early. Week 2?
Hell yeah! Credit to them for playing the game. I'll give Bama credit.
I'll give you that
credit.
too because remember Bama used to play all they used to play Georgia's schedule, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Until last 2 seasons.
So credit them.
Yep, I'll give you that. But yeah, so hey, college football guys, just a little fun fact: there are no ranked teams this week that are actually playing each other. All right, so every single ranked team is playing somebody that is unranked. Not saying that they're not playing good football teams, but every single team that is ranked is playing an unranked opponent this week. So something interesting just to kind of keep an eye on.
It's a rare thing to happen.
Yeah, it actually surprised me, especially at a week 3. I figure that usually in a week 1, maybe week 2, but like, I think NCAA football is starting to get the picture that, like, sure, the cake teams are early on. It is what it is. You're paying them a lot of money, but at the same time, people don't want to see that shit. People want to see good football, like, right off the bat. You want to see a lot of these big names play big names right away, like, regardless. And I think when you start expanding the playoff, I hope you get more of that, because
100%. That was my next statement.
Yeah,
100%.
I think a lot of the teams don't do that because they don't want to risk losing early, and then all of a sudden, hey, we're done after week 1, week 2. Look at LSU already. Look at Alabama already. 2 teams in the SEC that possibly had playoff hopes are now in the doghouse already right off the bat. So, but again, like Trent pointed out, kudos to them for playing those games because it made for good football. It was exciting. So, if nobody's going to start off, I do have a game that I am watching immediately.
Oh, well, I still want to talk about last week.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. I got a little excited. There's a big game this week for my team, but
Trey, do you have any reflections? I mean,
from last week?
I don't want to hog all the time, but I have a reflection.
I would say that you can't not mention Colorado.
Okay.
I mean, I think they had a pretty decisive 22-point win over Nebraska, who is we talked about earlier, they're considered a blue blood program, right? Football program.
Yeah, that's a stretch nowadays.
It is. But, I mean, they had a lot of hype this year with Matt Rule coming in, taking over. And Matt Rule had a lot to say about Deion Sanders, too, in that Colorado takeover. And I think he's kind of eating his words because very much a surprise. I wasn't on Colorado this week because I felt that they were overhyped, over-handicapped. But I think also that Sanders is actually a legit contender for the Heisman. The numbers he's putting up,
took a little bit to get going.
Yeah, but I mean,
he got going.
370 yards and
he got going. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But I don't think Hunter for Colorado is a candidate for Heisman. I think that was just a stretch because he's a two-way player. It's exciting, but he's not putting up the numbers.
Yeah.
The other thing that I kind of wanted to bring up is I think a team that we might have to start paying attention to a little bit is Miami, Florida.
Yeah,
I think they might be. I think they might be pretty legit. I think they got a very good quarterback in Van Dyke. Threw for 375 yards and 5 touchdowns against A&M. Ended up beating them. So I mean, I think that they're gonna start making some waves here in college football, and I think that they might start climbing the ranks here.
I like it. Run the tapes.
Trent did make that point a couple weeks ago about Cristobal needs to get his team going here soon. So beating an A&M team last week the way that they did with 48 points definitely helps their cause. So I'll give you that, Trent, for sure.
All right. Can you give me this too, guys?
Is it North Carolina?
Can you? What's that?
No, I picked that game.
That was Trey. But
I picked that game.
Here, let me just talk about this real quick. 48 of 64 passing completions. That's a 75% completion percentage. 731 passing yards, 11.4 yards per pass, 10 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, 0 interceptions. Guys, are those 3-game Heisman statistics or what?
Put your shillelagh away.
Who is it, guys?
We know.
Sam the Man Hartman.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not a Notre Dame fan, but Notre Dame has won me money every single week of college football.
Hey, they have a new OC over there, right, too?
What?
They have a new offensive coordinator over there?
Yes.
So
it was their previous he was an offensive coach on staff last year for Reese.
Right.
But Reese, who's now in Alabama. But Notre Dame, Sam Hartman, man, what a whew. I mean, you go into the rain delay last week a little nervous because, NC State showed like, maybe Sam Hartman has an issue with facing NC State. Comes out of the rain delay and just picks them apart. The guy is a serious Heisman contender. I'm not saying that Notre Dame is going to be a national champion, but he's going to have them in the mix here for quite some time. We do get an awesome matchup coming up, which I am going to imagine Notre Dame will be underdogs. and I will be considering it. I think it's not this week, but the next week, Notre Dame, Ohio State. So
Really?
that's coming up. Keep it on your radar.
Wow.
Yeah, I think, honestly, you're going to have to look ahead here. From what I hear, September 23rd, it's a Saturday, is going to be one of the best college football weekends to date, in a long time. So we might not have any ranked matchups this week, but we're going to get it made up for next week.
I do think that Hartman is actually saving Marcus Freeman's job too.
Well, it's a brilliant transfer for one Sam Hartman to build his brand, because his on NIL is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think that really did, because Freeman's a defensive minded coach, and now you got a guy that brings tons of experience. I mean, guys, you do realize Sam Hartman has the all-time record for passing touchdowns in the ACC history.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I mean, and it's his 5th year, I believe. So, hey, I'm on board. I'm not a Notre Dame fan, but I do cheer for Sam. I think he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's definitely showing out. I mean, I think Corso even picked him as a Heisman finalist too last week on the pregame show. But yeah, there's a lot of different things that, I mean, I will say this too though, that Kirk Herbstreit picked NC State last week. So
yeah, what an idiot! What an idiot!
Dude, I'm saying. I mean, he made a good point, and again, about halfway through,
terrible pick. They got crushed.
Not say right.
Oh, okay, don't give
after
him
the
credit.
third quarter. But I'm saying he talked about NC State's defense, and they did show out early, but they let it go. My question for you guys is, I know Ohio State's 2-0, but I feel like it's taken a little bit for them to get going the last couple of weeks.
Are
they the same Ohio State fan, or Ohio State fan? Are they the same Ohio State team as they've been in the past?
I mean, I was sick of hearing how much they were talking them up. Like, oh my God, this is the Ohio State offense that you expect. I'm like, guys, they played the Youngstown State Penguins
and struggled a little bit.
And that's what I'm saying.
They didn't blow them out.
To sit there and start to hype them like that, it's like, come on. Like, once again, the media loves certain teams because of numbers and TV numbers for the NCAA. And I said, I don't think Ohio State's the team of the usual Ohio State teams. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're missing their explosive playmaking quarterback that they're used to having.
Yeah.
They have the wideouts and they have the talent there, but I mean, they just have kind of like average quarterback play, which isn't like Ohio State. They usually have the very athletic, explosive players. And,
they usually have at least 2 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that are like, hey, who you gonna pick? Now, Trent, you also made a point too, though, didn't you? That Ohio State took a while to name a starter.
Yeah,
and we all kind of wondered too, like why'd they wait that long? Like, is it because nobody's showing out enough? Is it because they're so good that you really can't make a decision? And I think you're starting to see that maybe they're just kind of like, they're okay. I mean, they dropped from 3 to 5 after a win.
Did they?
They were 3 when they played Indiana week 1. And they dropped down to 5 this past week. So,
wow.
And again, Youngstown State, okay, in-state rivalry, sure, but like, you only beat them 35-7. Youngstown State. Well, I'm saying no disrespect to Youngstown State, but like, you know, that's they should have at least hung up 60-some points.
Subdivision, remember?
No, I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of different teams. I mean, I know the North Carolina Appalachian State game. I know Trey, you brought up that was going to be tough.
Yeah.
I thought the same damn thing. The fact that it went 2 overtimes also goes to Trent's point too, that North Carolina is going to have a couple slip ups, and for some reason, whatever the hell it is, they always struggle with Appalachian State. I feel like there's at least 2 or 3 different years now where they've struggled with them. I think Oregon putting it on, they're not putting it on, but 38-30 over Texas Tech.
That wasn't. No, they got away with that win, Tyler.
Wait.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait. Hold on. before we start talking about that game, let me get my last reflection, guys. Road Dogs covered, boys.
Yeah, they did.
All three of them was on yesterday.
Ooh.
Or last week, sorry.
Oh,
So, well, let me clarify, Trey. Maybe you were on these three with me, but I was all over Notre Dame -7 at NC State. I was all over Utah. Now I'm gonna add a little something onto my Road Dogs covered. Utah -6.5 at Baylor. Oregon -6.5 at Texas Tech. And the reason I point those lines out is, guys, I'll make the statement again. Early lines matter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Utah went up to 7.5. They wouldn't have covered. Oregon, I think, went up to 8.5. They wouldn't have covered. And Notre Dame, they covered. That was easy. But those other two, it took kind of freakish last plays to get that cover out of. Like we just said about Oregon. Oregon needed a crazy turnover for a touchdown in order to get to 8 to cover.
Right.
So it was sweaty, but you know what? It was worth it. Road Dogs covered this whole first week.
You mean Road Faves?
Yes, I apologize. Not Road Dogs.
Yeah.
Road Favorites covered. Road Favorites covered. Thank you. Sorry.
Yes,
Road
because
favorites.
I added on to the Road Faves, and with Ole Miss -7 against Tulane.
That is right.
Not
You're right.
Tulane.
Road Favorites. I apologize. It's Tulane. Yeah, Tulane.
Which actually was not. That wasn't as easy of a cover as what I thought it was going to be. So it was -7. They were up. What was it? I think 24-20 with 2 minutes left in the game, and they kicked a 52-yard field goal and made it. Or no, they were up. I forget what it was. 27-20, and they kicked it to go up 30-20, and then they got a fumble recovery at the end of the game for a touchdown. So really, it was almost a push or a loss for Ole Miss, but they got the late pull away there.
I'll ask you guys this though. 2 questions. I'll start with this. Is Duke for real in football? Now ranked 21. They put one on Lafayette, 42-7. Question 2. Are you ready to crown Michael Penix the Heisman?
No.
He's now thrown for over 400 yards 2 different games. He has a total of 859 total yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception in 2 games. So, just saying.
Not
Yeah,
8.
not
at all.
I hate to admit it because I was a hater. Yeah, I'd say he's the front runner right now. Him and Hartman.
He's got to be up there. I mean, they've also scored over 40 points 2 straight games.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think Drake May drops with that performance of his team against Appalachian State.
Yeah.
I don't think Caleb Williams is really putting up the numbers.
Oh, be careful saying that. That's not true.
I mean, he had 280 yards and 2 touchdowns last game.
Because they were up 49 to nothing at half.
Well, either way, Tyler pointed out, Penix is balling out right now.
Yeah, Tyler is a big Penix fan.
He loves big Penix.
Huge
Yes.
Penix.
Yeah.
I mean, his name is always coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, that was also my nickname too.
That's terrible. URT. Anyway.
Really?
Tyler, I'm not a. I mean, Sam Hartman's my Heisman right now. I can't get on board.
If they can keep winning, though,
Who?
right, if Washington can keep winning, I don't think there's any reason for them not to put Penix though in the obviously Heisman conversation. My question is though, not my question, but I will bet you, Trent. All right, beer bet.
Whoa, hold on a second. Whoa, okay.
Beer bet, real quick.
Uh-oh.
Whoever finishes higher, all right, even if they don't win, all right, Heisman finish higher, Penix and Hartman. If Penix finishes higher, you owe me a beer. If Hartman finishes higher, I'll get you a beer.
I'll put my beer where my mouth is.
All right, where your Penix
I
is.
will. No. Never mind. I said something made it so much worse.
Trey, you want in on this or no?
No, I'll spectate.
All right. Because you and I still both owe one each other, too.
Yeah.
Not just you owe a shotgun.
I know.
And you guys tried canceling those out, you little.
No, he didn't.
Little wimps. Yeah, you traded. Sorry, traded. Trey's afraid.
Wow.
But so
I'm not afraid.
Can we want to get into some picks here or what, boys,
Yeah,
for
let's
the
get
college
some...
football weekend? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say this: road favorites are alive again this week.
Okay.
I got 3 of them.
Okay.
I got 3 of them. You want me to rattle them off quick or no?
Rattle them off quick.
Yeah.
Okay, all 3. Ready? Tennessee -6 early line. Texted you guys that on like Sunday night.
I took it.
Tennessee at Florida -6. Because why, guys? Joe Milton doesn't lose in the swamp, supposedly. So
boy, they better play better than they did last week, though.
It's all right. They're gonna cover. Florida's pretty bad. Just had a big transfer. Kansas State early line once again. Take it quick. It's jumping up as we speak. Kansas State -3.5 at Missouri. Don't forget, Kansas State won the Big 12 championship last year. Returned a lot of pieces. They are good. -3.5 at Missouri. And then I am going to jump on board with the Frogs here. Not the Frogs. Yes, I am. Frogs?
Frogs.
Yes. TCU -7.5 at Houston. I know they're not a blue blood, right, Trey? But they are going to beat a very, very bad Houston Cougar football team.
Okay. Well, Trent, I'm a little bit on the opposite of you here. I'm taking dogs all weekend, baby.
I hate your attitude.
So my first dog I'm going to take.
Hey, wolf, Trey.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, give us Trey, give us a little Sam Howell.
No, I can't. It has to be unprovoked.
Oh,
has to be casual in conversation.
Hey, how about Sam Howell for those Commanders this week? Yes.
No, but anyway, my first dog I'm taking is Minnesota +7.5 against a struggling, I think, UNC team.
Dude, that's Trey. Listen, I'm not taking Minnesota +7.5, but I am gonna take the under in that game.
Okay, I think this is what we talked about. You said that in Appalachian State too.
Yeah. Yes. I am taking the under in that game because I think right now it's about 50.5. Is that what it's at?
Mm-hmm. Yes, 50. I have C, but yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I take the under in that game. I think that it's a defensive game. I don't think North Carolina scores like they can. Yeah, so I'm taking the under in that game. So that was actually one of my big picks this week.
I like that a lot too. The under too, because I mean, you'd think UNC had a strong offense and they'd just be putting up numbers, but they just don't look the same as what they did. Yeah. Next dog I'm going with is actually Michigan State +16 at home.
Whoa! Without their head coach?
Whoa!
Yes.
Wait, I got news.
Uh-oh.
I got news. I found this out. I don't know if you guys know this. Guess who they brought back in this week?
No way.
Mike D'Antonio will be on the headsets for Michigan State.
I love it. See?
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Mike D'Antonio. So you're not far
insider.
Huh?
That's great. So +16 is a lock.
Yeah.
Great insider information there.
Learn that today, actually. So
yeah, is Tom Izzo on the set too, or
you might as well be, but everybody better watch themselves over at Michigan State.
He coaches basketball like a football coach. I'll tell you that much. Holy shit!
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike D'Antonio, who was a phenomenal football coach for them, and I'll tell you what is you get him on. He's not the interim head coach. But they called him up, and he's coming back. He's like, all right, I'm there. So
he's always going to help his alma mater out.
Yep. So Mike D'Antonio's back.
Two more dogs. I'll list them off quick. Ohio +3 against Iowa State.
Yes.
Good call.
I love it. I love it.
Last one. I think it's going to be a great game, and I'm excited to watch it. I'm going to take Pittsburgh money line against West Virginia.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yep.
What's the money line at?
That's a tough one.
The spread's only one. Yeah,
it's one.
But, yeah, they're considered underdogs.
So you think Pitt takes it?
Yeah, I do.
Hold on. Where's it at? Where's the game at?
It's at West Virginia.
Ooh, I don't like that, Trey.
Well, we'll see.
Don't like
Trey,
that.
Trey, can I add on to one of your picks?
Sure.
That Ohio-Iowa State game, which a lot of people are talking about how, like, Iowa State crushed them last year, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. There's rumor of Iowa State's gambling quarterback potentially playing. I don't know how that works.
How's that happen?
I don't know, but there's a chance. But I love Ohio's team total. Over 19.5 for minus 115, I believe it is. So I think Ohio at home are going to score some points if they can keep that quarterback number one healthy, which in week one they didn't. He got banged up a little bit. I like them scoring points.
All right. I'll throw out a little bit of an kind of wild pick here. Little curveball. A little bit of a curveball.
Is it a curved Phoenix?
Wow. It's not appropriate at all. There's nothing about
like,
that.
I meant like a curveball.
Wow.
Penix pick, you know?
No, it's not even going Washington. Good God.
You said Phoenix.
Wow. Sorry, guys. I Michael Penix.
Wow, this guy. Man, I'm not even sure I can make this pick anymore. All right. Now, what I'm keeping an eye on is the Northern Illinois, Nebraska. Second half, over 20.5.
Ah, there he is.
Plus 102. Plus 102.
Plus 102.
Northern Illinois and Nebraska. All right.
How do they already have second line totals out?
Dude, it's college football. Dude, they have second half lines out all the time.
That's weird.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's where I look. I look deep into things, like a deep Penix.
Oh man, I knew where he was going.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Oh, jeez Louise.
But no, yeah, that's my big one. But no, I also like the under with the North Carolina Minnesota total. What I'm kind of questioning too, though, is the Duke Northwestern game. I mean, if Duke is what they are, I'm gonna say right now that I look at that over 48.5. So I take the over on that. I think Duke scores a bunch of points. I think Northwestern scores maybe 2 touchdowns, but I think that covers. And I'm keeping an eye on the Iowa Western Michigan. Checking out the team totals for Iowa in this game. It's over 34.5. Shoo. Don't like that. That's really high. I know it's against Western Michigan, but keep an eye on that. I might even just do the total first half on that and take the over 23.5 on the Iowa Western Michigan. I know we're all about unders with Iowa, but I think Iowa's offense is a little bit different this year. So I take the over 23.5 first half with Iowa Western Michigan. So that's where I'm at. I know it's very unique picks, but that's how I am in college football, man.
I was just saying, I do too, Trey. I got one more too. Go ahead, Trey.
Mine, I'm kind of looking at it and it doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to take Oklahoma State -7 against South Alabama Jaguars, and they're at home. At Boone Pickens. They're playing at Boone Pickens, and they're only 7-point favorites. South Alabama lost to Tulane. They beat Southeastern Louisiana. Oklahoma State's 2-0. They beat Central Arkansas and Arizona State. So I don't understand that line. Maybe there's something I don't know. Like South Alabama has a stud returning or someone bigs out for Oklahoma State, but I think that's a pretty secure bet, all things considered.
Yeah.
I do have one more too, but go ahead, Trent.
Okay. I am looking at this is different for me. I'm not used to this. A home underdog. Purdue plus 2.5. Plus 2.5. Some books have them at 3 against Syracuse. If you do the stat comparison, you're going to be like, Trent, you're a nut. You're stupid. You're crazy. But Syracuse's first 2 games were against a Colgate, who they beat 65-0, and then a Western Michigan, who actually struggled with my own alma mater, St. Francis, 48-7. So don't believe those statistics. Purdue knocked off Virginia Tech last week. They did drop week 1 to a Fresno State, who, hey, I'll put some respect on Fresno State. They can score points typically. But the win for Purdue at Virginia Tech is what is kind of selling me. So you're at home versus Syracuse and you're an underdog. I think the Big Ten is better. Big Ten is better than the ACC. So I'm going Purdue plus 2.5. Some books have them at 3. Get it at 3 if you can.
Cool. My unique pick, I know, Trey, you and I, we just talked about the Michigan State aspect of things, but I like the Washington team total touchdowns over 4.5.
Ooh.
So I like them to get 5 touchdowns. But yeah, I don't know. That Mike D'Antonio thing coming back though is definitely going to be interesting. Because looking at his stats versus everything else, he has 3 division titles with Michigan. He's the only person with division titles at Michigan State.
They're 16-point home dogs.
And he also had 12 bowl games. And if he's coming back on a headset, let's go. I think Michigan State covers, but I think Washington also does put up some numbers. So,
yeah.
Big Penix energy.
There he is.
What?
That was good. I wasn't sure how we were going to use it again.
All right. Anything else here, guys?
Oh, man. No. Is there any college football, NFL starting tomorrow, and then all the way through Monday, boys? Football with a side of football. I love it.
Yep.
Don't
forget here the MLB playoffs are going to be finalizing here.
Yeah.
Got some wild card races.
I will say this:
it's easy to get lost in the mix with everything going on, but I do like this time of the year.
As an Orioles podcast, bad loss tonight. First time a shutout in 48 games. Didn't like that. They play the Rays next series. The Orioles do. They're 2 games up on the Rays right now, so. You got to keep that momentum.
That could determine
wild card.
Champ.
Yeah. Yep. So
I'm going. Hey, Orioles were looking ahead. They're going to be all right.
I'll tell you what, for John Means to debut only giving up 1 run and not win that game, that's tough.
He only had 1 K too.
No,
he gave up 3 runs, but
he gave up 3 runs.
What?
3 runs.
Did he pitch tonight?
No, last night. Gibson tonight.
Oh shoot! Okay, that's my bad.
Yeah, Gibson pitched tonight, but yeah, he looked good though.
Yeah.
He's not full go yet. You can tell.
Yeah.
Like he's not full go, but like he was all right. I mean,
as long as he is by the playoffs.
Yeah. To have him back will be great. So.
Yep. So keep an eye on baseball. We're still putting those out, but as we start to get a little bit more football, we can get some trends. So let's make use of them.
Still looking at those over-unders, man. But
we can start making more outrageous claims once there's more than 1 week in the books. You know what I mean, Trent?
That's right, Trey.
Like Brock Purdy
Packers
for MVP.
Super Bowl over there, Texas.
That never came out of my mouth.
Brock Purdy for MVP.
But you know who is winning the Super Bowl? It's guaranteed to be the 49ers.
Oh wow, man, you're
agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't, it's a disappointment.
No, you can try to reverse jinx all you want, but I also agree with you, so therefore it cancels out your jinx.
Well,
you can't triple stamp, double stamp.
I can like quadruple stamp any stamp that I want. Except for the mushroom. All right.
And on that note,
guys, have a great night. Listen, like I said, special edition Thursday release. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah. Take it easy, fellas. It's been a pleasure.
Lots of football. Let's go.
Enjoy.
All right. Have a great weekend.